Seahawks. Welcome back to the panel. We have Brooks, Andrew, and Pierce. Thank you guys so much. So let's just get right into it. Of course, the biggest game of the year. I know you have a lot to say. We probably all have a lot to say. What the heck happened? Brooks, you want to get it started for us?
Okay. First of all, worst Super Bowl seen in the past 7 years.
I'd agree. Does anyone think that there's a worst? I know you probably might disagree. But I can't think of a worse Super Bowl.
Not that I can remember.
It's been a while, maybe since the 49ers and the Chargers back in the early 90s. I mean, that's the last time there was a legit blowout like that. But they were just dominating. Seattle was a much better team. They set the tone early. They had those boys scared. I mean, Chancellor came around when he hit Demaryius Thomas across the middle. Those guys didn't even want nothing to do with that. You saw it. Wes Walker got knocked out. I mean, I'm pretty sure Eric Decker didn't even go to the game. I'm pretty sure he was just hanging out with his wife on the TV show. And I love some Eric Decker, but they just got straight up hit in the mouth and disappeared. Peyton, when that safety happened, you could see him going, what? The ball just flies over his head. It was a wrap. They made them one-dimensional. They couldn't run the ball. And once they knew they had to throw, that front four was all in their face. And it sucks, but like they didn't give Peyton the opportunity to actually make plays because that defensive line was on them all night.
Yeah, to build off that, the offensive line did not show up either. They're probably still having like the pregame meal or something, wherever they were doing. I don't know. Ran the ball 14 times. That's pathetic in the Super Bowl. But Peyton did set the completion record at 34. He just did not have a chance. Everyone was always in his face. Cliff Averill tipped the ball to get Malcolm Smith the pick six and the MVP, which I don't think it should have been Malcolm Smith to begin with. I would go with Cam Chancellor because I thought he had the better game and the bigger impact. But Peyton, I don't blame him fully, but he deserves 35% of the blame because it's still Peyton Manning. I'm
Still
sorry.
recovering.
Let's just point out the basics, how the Broncos lost this game. 4 turnovers. I mean, 4 turnovers against any team will lose you the game, but especially against the Seahawks defense that it's so hard to score points on. And when you have 4 turnovers like that, and they get 21 points off of that, you're basically just shooting yourself in the mouth. I mean, also 0 for 3 on 4th down conversions. Peyton Manning was under pressure the whole time. Doesn't help that our all-pro left tackle Ryan Clady was out. I mean, it was just, like you guys said, it was
They were dominating.
Was Denver maybe just not the best team that should have been there, or do you think that the Seahawks were just that good?
Well, I think the Seahawks are just that good. I mean, that defense, arguably, in my opinion, could be one of the best defenses of all time. I mean, their front four is amazing. I mean, they could easily get pressure on anyone with that front four. They don't need to blitz. They have arguably the best corner in the NFL right now in Richard Sherman. Their safeties are probably the best duo of safeties, and Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor. And then offensively, the Seahawks aren't the greatest, but they work well with their defense. They're a ground and pound type of offense that just needs to score like that 20, 21 points and they should win. But I think the Broncos were probably the most legitimate team out of the AFC, in my opinion, that could compete with the Seahawks because of their weapons offensively. It's just Peyton Manning didn't have the time to hit all of his weapons because they were just harassing him the whole game, it felt like.
Do you guys agree? Do you think maybe a Patriots team would have done better? What do you guys think?
No, I think that Denver was the most legitimate competition, but Seattle was averaging 13. Their defense was averaging 13.3 points per game. I mean, some serious talk here. I mean, one of the best defenses since maybe the Tampa defense or even the Ray Lewis Baltimore defense. Those guys just hit you, and they hit you, So, I mean, I hate to use the cliche that defense wins championships, but, I mean, it was proven once again that a better defense is better than offense.
What do you think, Pierce?
Yeah, I agree with Brooks. I do not think the Patriots could have hung with the Seattle Seahawks. No Gronk. Then Please, someone else name a Patriots receiver.
I mean,
Anyone?
also you got to think they shut down the tight end who Peyton loves to go to. I mean, Seattle. Look who they played. Jimmy Graham, they punked him. Julius, they punked him. Like
Punked.
I mean, they just take away what you want to do and make you one-dimensional.
And honestly, I think the Broncos' run defense is a lot better than the Patriots. I mean,
Yep.
Broncos are able to contain Lynch a little bit. The Patriots don't have a solid run defense, and that's basically all the Seahawks do offensively. So,
I mean, when you don't have a first down until the second quarter, I don't care who you are, what team, you are definitely imposing your will.
So now, I mean, obviously, this begs the question about Peyton Manning. What is he gonna do? What is the future like for Peyton Manning, the Broncos, but mostly Peyton Manning? Do you guys think he's gonna hang it up, or you think one more year? What do you think is the future for him?
I'm saying one more year. He had the best year a quarterback could ever have. Over 5,400 yards and 54 touchdowns. Come on. He still has a lot left in the tank. It just depends on the physical on his neck. If it clears out, he comes back. If it doesn't, he rides off.
I mean, I agree with Pierce. I think he's going to stay for maybe a year or two. I see maybe 2 years because, honestly, there's reports saying that Decker is probably going to stay with the Broncos, which is huge. This defense is only going to get better. They didn't have Von Miller, Chris Harris. Derek Wolfe wasn't also there, and I see them addressing that in the offseason. And I mean, honestly, the Broncos are still the favorites to win the AFC again this year. Yeah, because there's really the Patriots. We don't know exactly what type of team they're going to have when Gronk comes back, because it seems like he's just injury prone, waiting to happen. And so I just feel he knows that can play at a high level, and just like what Pierce said, I mean, he set the record for passing touchdowns and passing yards, and could have easily put a couple more passing yards if he played the second half of the Raiders game. But
I mean, I think he has another year or two. He is 37 years old. Watching him during that game, he looked very stationary. I mean, he just couldn't move at all. But I think I give him 1 year. He's the greatest regular season quarterback we've ever seen. Playoffs, But I mean, let him come back. You know, he's gonna throw for another 4,000 or 5,000 yards, 40, 50 touchdowns.
Doubt it.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about rings. Can he win another one? I think not. But I think he should play one more season and give it a try.
Do you guys think maybe if he gets some pieces on defense together, maybe if they address that issue in the offseason, do you think they have a chance of making it to another Super Bowl? If they do and win, then do you think he should call it quits, go out on top
Oh,
with
definitely.
2 rings?
Yep.
I mean, I think he would, and yeah, I think he would probably retire if they go back and win the Super Bowl, which I know it's early, but I still have them as the favorites for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, still really early
Yeah.
to tell.
A little bit.
But only time will tell. But speaking of another great athlete's future, Tiger Woods. Now, obviously, if we were having this conversation 6 years ago, we would have said, no doubt, go down in history as the best golfer in history, maybe even the best athlete in history as far as accomplishments. Now, though, he has not won a major in 5 years. Where do you guys think he stands? Is he going to be able to win another one? Will he ever be the old Tiger Woods? Where do you think that places him in history?
Personally, I think he, if not the greatest golfer, he's definitely 2 or 3. He hasn't won a major, like you said, in the past 6 years. He's had a major knee surgery. He's also had problems with his shoulder, I think. And time is only, Father Time is going to catch up. It always catches everyone. And I think that he's lost that nostalgia, that fear that he used to put into the group and everybody, when Sundays and you come out and everybody's like, uh-oh, here comes Tiger.
When he was in the red and the black.
Right, in the red and the black, he meant business. I root for him, I still do, but in golf being such a mental game and seeing what happened to him and how far he has fallen, I don't know. I hope. I mean, it's great for the game, but I just don't think he might win one. I'll say he'll win one within the next 2 years.
I think he's fine. I really do. I'm putting it out there right now. I am picking him to win the Masters right now. I see it. He hasn't practiced in 2 months. He's still in off-season mode. He's winging his game right now. It will take time, but I think come April, he's fine.
But I don't think his physical game is the problem. I like what you say about ever since he had his, we'll call it situation, he has never been the same. I mean, if you would have told him that he would go 5 years without winning a single major, no one would believe it. I don't think physically is he capable. Yes, he's been capable. Mentally, I don't think he's capable.
I couldn't agree with you more, Taylor. I think he doesn't win another major for the rest of his career, honestly. I mean, yes, he can win those small tournaments, but that's when he doesn't have the pressure. He has so much pressure on him because he's trying to surpass, I believe, Jack Nicklaus for the golf thing. And, I mean, he's never been the same since that whole situation happened. He's gone through so many putter instructions just to learn how to putt. I mean, he's not the same Tiger Woods he was 5 years ago. And like you said, people don't fear him anymore. I mean, you have Zach Johnson playing well. Phil Mickelson can play well when
Phil Mickelson, he plays well when he has to. When it is those big tournaments, he will play well, just like how Tiger used to, but he doesn't anymore.
So he's going to stay with the same amount of majors, in my opinion. He's probably going to go down as one of the best golfers, like Brooks said, because he's won so many majors and won so many other tournaments. But I just think he's done winning majors, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Also, who is number one in the world right now? It's still Tiger, so he's proven he can still do it. He won he's won 6 times last year.
It doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, if it's majors, it's not. No one says, "Oh, well, he won a lot of tournament." It's gonna be like Peyton Manning with the Super Bowl. Yes, he will be the best regular season quarterback, but who are people gonna say was the best all-time quarterback? You're gonna have Brady in that conversation. You're gonna have the quarterbacks who have the most rings, and that's how it is for golf. I mean, you have to go with the majors.
And I mean, yes, he's still number one, but he's been number one for the last couple of years, and he's yet to win a major. Bunch of haters. He's not.
Injury problems.
Yeah.
Major injury problems. Like his heel was messed up for all of last year. His shoulder was bothering him. Tore his ACL, and then he's just had a bunch of injury problems. So I think now he's healthy. It's his time. It really is.
Doesn't matter. Yes, he's had the injuries, but he's still not mentally there. He just seems like he's just not even focusing on golf. Like, ever since the whole thing happened, he's just...
I mean, he just got off to his worst start in his career. So I just don't see how you think that... just don't get why you're so confident.
Because he hasn't practiced in 2 months. He's in off-season mode still. He's just been hanging out in Orlando at his big mansion, hitting maybe once a month, maybe twice.
He needs to work on his putting as well, though.
Yeah. I watched him last week. It's gotten better throughout the weekend. Like on Sunday, it wasn't the best. It was definitely better than what it was on Thursday. He's just getting his game back. Come April, he'll be fine.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Sorry. But, all right, Thursday he looked horrible. So being better than Thursday means, I'm just going to shoot a 70 now instead of like a 79 or something like that.
He's winging his game because he's won on these courses before. So he probably thinks, okay, won here 8 or 9 times. I don't need to practice.
Well, we will see. Only time will tell.